What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this, I want to break down what's happening with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down some very important catalysts coming out for today, as we have important economic data coming out, not to mention Nvidia's earnings, and also how things are looking for news for Tesla and what the share price may end up doing. But before we continue devil's information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I am firstly not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo and deposit $100, you're guaranteed 7 free stocks. And the offer ends very, very soon, in just about 6 days from now. Anyways, for Tesla, I just want to call out that Tesla did get this little dip right here during our pre-market session. We're actually testing our 200 EMA on the 5-minute time frame. And this is exactly what I said would likely happen in my video from yesterday. Tesla's going to get a little retracement before we get a bounce, and I still hold that same view. So as far as Tesla goes, we'll have to see if this thing could hold this 182 area, this 200 EMA. If we do lose it, it could dip a little bit more, but I still anticipate it's going to try to bounce anyways, and I still hold that view. Now, sometimes news articles could come out right at open or a little bit after open, so watch and see what that could cause as well. But for now, technicals do show a potential bounce as the most likely possibility very, very soon. So I'll break down more details about this for Tesla in just a few minutes. Let's first talk about some more data. As a reminder for today, at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have existing home sales coming out. Very, very minor data, nothing too crazy from that end. But the main pieces of data come out a little bit later, as we have at 11:30 a.m. the 17-week bill auction, at 1 p.m. the 20-year bond auction coming out. Those are a little bit more significant, but the most significant piece of data that's coming out for today when the market's going to be open will be at 2 o'clock p.m., we have the FOMC minutes. This is a report of the FOMC meeting. Remember, it's not an actual meeting, it's just a report from the meeting that gives us more insights on what the Fed wants to do and more views of different Fed officials. So look for high volatility at 2 p.m. for today. This is the most important piece of data that's coming out intraday. And then on top of that, do not forget that we also have important earnings coming out. We have Nvda announcing its earnings as well for today after the market closes. That's going to be very key, very exciting. Can't wait to see what that causes. For the markets right now, we have the S&P 500 and Nasdaq Composite hitting new highs, continuing to pump very nicely. As far as Target goes, it announced its earnings. I'll talk about that in just a minute. Pixar just announced that it's laying off about 175 employees. That's about 14% of the studio's workforce. And Disney, once again, is looking at something very, very similar. On top of this, Google has announced that it's allowing advertisers to promote with style, giving them the ability to generate AI to create and use 3D images on their ads. It's very, very cool stuff. AI overview is going to be a new feature, so very awesome. Besides that, Nestle has its eyes on the new markets. It's going to be launching a frozen food brand catered specifically to consumers that use certain drugs for prevention and such. So pretty cool stuff. That's what's making headlines for today. Going back to earnings real quick before I talk about Tesla, Nvidia has earnings today after the market closes. For today, we just got Target and TJ Maxx. Both of the share prices are down for these companies, starting with Target. How did they do? Not so great. Earnings have missed, sales have fallen quite a bit. Looking at it right here, EPS was a miss at $2.03. Revenue is about $24.5 billion. So revenue was actually aligned with expectations, but EPS was a miss. On top of this, when it comes to their overall guidance, it wasn't the strongest overall. So that's part of the reason why this is not really doing as well. So with the price cuts, they actually acknowledged a lot of challenges. They're cutting a lot of prices to try to get demand back up because once again, earnings are not the strongest. That's some big news for targets. That's why the share price is currently down. Then we have TJ Maxx. There's some news coming out with TJ Maxx right over here. Basically, it topped estimates, but guidance was also light for it. EPS was $1.22 above expectations. Revenue is also above expectations. But when it comes to other factors like their forecasts, they're not that great overall. They're just so, in my personal opinion. For the full year, we had this right over here, very, very, very close to expectations, maybe a little bit short when it comes to EPS. So that's something else worth noting. That's it for the earnings part. When it comes to Tesla, there's been a lot of headlines about this right here, about how PepsiCo is now sharing photos of freshly delivered Tesla semi-truck units, which they received. So pretty cool stuff, as is now a very, very nice looking partnership between PepsiCo and Tesla. And they are going to continue to maintain their fleet and once again get more and more of these EVs. So very, very awesome stuff for the Tesla semis and very, very great news for Tesla. Tesla's also now talking about how they're going to be starting the semi volume production in 2026, aiming for a 50,000 unit capacity very, very soon. That is pretty awesome for Tesla. once again, that's going to lead to a lot more sales and a lot more growth moving forward. So that's actually making a lot of headlines right now. There's also some news about some comments from shareholders. I didn't see anything else that was too crazy in the news thus far. Things could change later on, so we'll see how Tesla holds up. Right now, in the 5-minute time frame, Tesla has resistance at our 50 EMA and support at the 200 EMA. Overall, Tesla had this very, very big push, but just know that we have our 0.5 retracement over here at this 182 area. Then we have the 0.618 retracement at 180 flat, and then 178 is where we have our 0.786 retracement. So it's actually aligned with my levels. I believe that even if Tesla does dip a little bit to break through 180, that's where our support is right now. We still have this 180 zone. 178 to 180 is going to be our key support. I still think Tesla will bounce off one of those two levels. We have resistance currently where our 50 EMA happens to be at 183.5. Breakdown, I could be looking for 185, 188, and eventually 190 is resistance. I think that Tesla could, it might bounce from right here. It's a strong possibility it bounces off 182, if not 180, one of those levels. And then we're going to be looking for an attempt for it to try to fill this gap and try to make its way up to about 186 at the very least, if not higher, as we start to see more and more buyers step in. So watch and see where Tesla tries to bounce at. Will it be 182 or 180? It really depends. Those are our key Fibonacci retracement areas. Then look for a bounce and a push right back up towards resistance at 186, in my personal opinion, if not higher. So Tesla has potential to bounce. I'm seeing potential in the share price right now, and we'll have to see how things go. I think it I think it might try to bounce with the overall market. For SPY, it's very simple. I'm going to actually now zoom out of my chart just to show you these levels. So for SPY, I think that SPY is going to bounce as well. We have a very, very nice uptrend right over here. As you guys can see, it's been uptrending very nicely. We have resistance currently at 530.8, 531.5, 532.25, 533, and 534. We have support currently at 530, 529.5. If we do lose that, we could turn a little bit more bearish for 528. I've heard that SPY is going to either retest this 530 area or 530.5 around the zone, then try to bounce and hit the all-time high, then eventually break it. I think we're going to be pushing for a new all-time high, hitting at least 532.25 to 533 at the very least. So I expect more upside on SPY. Look for a little dip first before it continues to push higher. The odds and technicals look bullish. We have a nice cup and handle, and we're going to likely see another push approaching Nvidia's earnings. For Nvidia, the share price is currently up about 0.5%. We're actually approaching the resistance at this 960 area, the exact level we called out. I think that Nvidia could push higher. I think we're going to be looking for a test of 960. It could go a little higher to about 965. We're just going to shuffle up here for quite some time. We have a bullish looking structure right here, so if we look for a push to 960 plus, we could go up to 965, and if we break through that, 970 is next. But overall, the share price is bullish for Nvidia. I do anticipate more upside is coming to at least the 960 plus area to 965. I do see some more upside potential for this. For the QQQ, this looks bullish overall. We're going to be looking at resistance currently at this 456 area. If we break through this, there's 457, 458 coming. We have support currently at 455 and then 454. Could dip a bit, then continue to push higher, but I do anticipate the upside is more probable. For Aapl, we're looking at a little bit more bullish. We have 192 as support. If we break through this, we'll look at 192.5, 193.5, then 194. And we have support at 191, followed by 190.5. So I think it might dip a little bit, retest our 50 EMA. It's possible we dip a little bit lower before it tries to bounce again. And I still think that there's upside potential for at least 193.5 or higher. I favor upside still. For Coinbase, this thing could retrace a little bit towards our 50 EMA, towards 221, then try to rebound and start pushing back up higher towards 230. So look for a little drop and bounce. For Amazon, we ended up holding the support from yesterday. Now we're trying to rebound a bit. Look for a test of 184.7 to 185 and some sideways price action up there. So a little push on Amazon is likely coming. If we break past 185, look for 187. But I do think there's going to be a push to at least 185 coming. Meta is also trying to push higher. Look for a test of 468 to 469. If that breaks, we're going to be going back up towards about 472. There's a little bit of upside potential for it as well. GameStop, kind of flat right here, but we do have a nice inverse head and shoulders. We will see if this plays out or not. If we do hold support, then look for a nice bounce. If we break past 24, look for 20. It's going to start pushing much higher if we break past 24, and we'll just watch the support right here. Same thing with AMC. We'll be watching support. I think it could be pushing back up to 5 very soon. Anyways, that's it for the video, guys. Thank you all so much for listening. I hope you guys have a great day. As for Tesla, it's dipping just a bit, but I'm going to be looking for a bounce very soon. It could continue to dip a bit more, but make sure you watch those supports I called out and then watch for a bounce later on. All right. Thank you all so much for listening. Have an absolutely incredible rest of the day. The market is still bullish, and we'll see how things go. Thank you. I'll see you guys in a few hours, and peace out.